AWS has replaced their 12 months free tier plan with a new credit-based system. And this system includes a free plan and a paid plan and a certain amount of credits, but not everybody is going to be eligible for those. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what these new options are, how they compare to the old model, but most importantly, I'm going to talk about the free plan and the paid plan, the credits, who is eligible, and I'll give you some tips on how you may also be eligible for some additional promotional credits from AWS, depending on your circumstances. So make sure you stay to the end of the video for that one. My name is Neil Davis. I'm the founder of Digital Cloud Training, and I've been working in this industry for well over 2 decades, and I've been training people in AWS for the last several years, training over 1 million learners. So if you are interested in learning AWS or advancing your skill set, then please check out the links in the description below, and you'll find our Cloud Mastery Bootcamp where I help people like you to learn AWS and advance your skills. And if you like this video, please like the video and subscribe to our channel so you get more videos like this one. So let's get straight into it. So we have the free plan and the paid plan. I'm going to walk through the differences between these two different plan options. Now, note at the top here, free plan and free credits are available to new customers only. So this is like a bit of a major change to what we used to have. We used to have a system where you could basically create a new account at any time and you would get some credits for up to 12 months. So for 12 months, you could use a certain amount of certain services, so a certain level of consumption of those services without paying anything. And you could just keep creating new accounts. I've been doing that for years for educational purposes, for business purposes, just creating a new account whenever I need one. And I get those free tier credits, which is great. Of course, AWS probably don't like that too much. And so they've said, well, let's lock it down a little bit. Maybe they're giving away too much. So what they've done is they've changed that model to a credit-based system instead. And that credit-based system is only available to new customers. So if you've previously had a free tier account or any AWS account, then you're not going to be eligible to get these credits anymore. Now, there are 2 different options here. As you can see, we've got the free plan and the paid plan. So with the free plan, you receive $100 sign-up credit, and then you can earn $100 more in additional credits. There's some things that you can do, some actions you can take in the console that will then unlock those additional credits. Maybe a kind of promotional thing, so maybe that's not there forever, I'm not sure, but that's something you can do today. Same on the paid plan. So when you sign up, you'll have this choice. As you go through the web pages to create your account, you'll be given an option. Do you want a free plan or a paid plan? So when you do that, you're going to get the credits, regardless of which type you choose. You're going to get those $100 credits if you're a new customer. Okay, so this applies to both types of accounts. So you're still getting those credits even if you go straight into a paid plan. The difference between the 2 plans, or one of the core differences, is that on the paid plan, you're going to get access to basically everything, whereas with the free plan, you don't. Now, the free plan, you get access to always free services. That's the same on the paid plan. It basically just means that there are some services on AWS where there is a kind of free tier, a certain amount of consumption that you get for free forever, basically. For instance, AWS Lambda is one of those services. On the paid plan, you also get access to short-term trial offers. Now, as I mentioned, the key difference between these 2 accounts is on the free plan, you're only going to be able to access certain AWS services and features. You can't access everything. So if you're evaluating for business purposes and you need to access certain services that are not included in the free plan, then you're going to have to go to the paid plan. The credits will still be there if it's a new account, if it's the first time you've signed up with AWS. But now you've unlocked basically everything. With the free plan, no charges are going to be incurred during usage. Now, I should note you still need a credit card to create the account. So they're going to want to have a credit card on file, and that's going to be needed for when you convert to a paid plan. But you're not going to get charged for anything as long as you're in the free plan. With the paid plan, you're going to pay for any charges that exceed your credit balance. So if you accidentally leave something running, then you could incur a bill, whereas on the free plan, you won't. On the free plan, the account will expire after 6 months or once your credits are used, so whichever comes first. So on the free plan, if you did leave some things running that were included in that free tier, if you like, and you hit your $100, you used up your $100 or your $200, whatever you have, then they're just going to close your account. Okay, so rather than racking up a bill, they're just going to close the account. So the credits are gone, account's closed. You then have the option to open the account as a paid account again. So if you left some data in there, for example, you can for up to 3 months after that happens. So after the 6 months closure, or after you've run out of your credits and they close your account, you can open the account again as a paid plan, and you'll find that your data is still there. So with a paid plan, of course, there's no automatic expiration. So as I mentioned, after expiration, you can upgrade to a paid plan, and there's a 90-day grace period for reopening the account as a paid account. I'm going to show you around a couple of web pages on the AWS website, which will help you understand the plans better and what you're going to get access to. Now, this is the main AWS free tier page. If you Google AWS free tier, this should be the first link. And you can create your free account or your paid plan straight from here as well. So if I just scroll down a little way, here we have the Explore Our Offers section, and we can filter to see which services are available on the free plan. So you can see here it's displaying 186 services. And if I filter, choose plan type, and then select free and apply, then it's going to filter the ones that are available on the free plan. They will also be available on paid, so it automatically selects both as well. So if I apply that filter, it drops down to 101 services, so still lots of services. And a lot of these are the really important ones that we're going to want to evaluate anyway if we're evaluating for business uses, or if we're studying most of the services that we want to use, if we're studying for AWS certification, are going to be here as well. However, there are some limitations. So for example, EC2 is here. And if I click on the little plus, we can see which instance types are available to use on the free plan. Not everything is available, because if you chose a instance type that's $100 an hour, then you're going to use all your credits and get not much value out of the free plan. So what they've done is they've limited to certain instance types. And so we've got T3 small or T3 micro, for example. With Amazon S3, all the features are going to be available. However, it's just going to use up our credits, so we need to be careful with how we use S3. And with RDS, again, it's going to be based on instance types. They're not going to just allow us to access, to launch a huge database that's going to use up all our credits. So they just give us a few different options for the different engines we can use, as well as the instance types that are available to us. We also have the free tier FAQs page here. So some frequently asked questions. Couple of important things here. What services are part of the free tier? We've just gone over that, so you know where to go to look those up. When do your free tier credits expire? They expire after 12 months from the date of opening your account. Now you may think, well, hang on a second, I only get 6 months maximum. Well, if you still have some credits available at the end of the free plan 6-month time frame, you can upgrade to a paid plan, and those credits will actually be moved across to the paid plan. So you still get access to them, and those credits are then available for 12 months. Another question here is, what happens when my account creates or joins an AWS organization? Now, organizations and Control Tower are not available on the free plan. If you actually create an organization, it's going to switch you automatically to a paid plan, and you're going to lose all of your credits. What you can do is actually upgrade to a paid plan first, then create your AWS organization, and your credits will be preserved. Is there any reason I would be ineligible for free plan or free tier credits? Yes, if you have an existing account or have had one in the past. Can you transfer your credits to another account? No, you can't. So quite a few useful questions that you may want to go through there. Here, choosing an AWS free tier plan, this is in the user guide under AWS billing and cost management. As it notes here, free account plans don't include access to services or features that could possibly deplete your credits or hardware purchases. So certain things like AWS Marketplace, savings plans, and reserved instances won't be available, as well as you saw, some features of certain services, like which instance types you have available to within EC2. Free account plans are not eligible for other promotional credits, and discounts. So AWS has a whole bunch of different programs for getting promotional credits depending on your circumstance. I'm going to walk through a few at the end of this video, but free account plans won't be eligible for those. So you're going to have to use up those credits, upgrade to a pay plan, and then you'll be able to apply for those promotional credits and discounts. And as I mentioned before, free account plans will automatically upgrade to paid plan if you join AWS organizations. So you want to make sure you upgrade to a paid plan first if you want to preserve your credits. So which plan should you choose? You want to choose the free plan if you're worried about getting a surprise bill. Why? Because you're not going to get one. It's more like a sandbox account where you essentially get access, and though you give them your credit card, they're not going to charge you anything. They're literally going to close the account if you hit those certain limits where you've used up your credits or you've reached the 6 months, which is the maximum time you can be in the free plan. So it's kind of risk-free within that time frame, which will put a lot of people's minds at ease. Now, there are a lot of ways that we can control our costs and make sure that we get alerted if we've forgotten to turn something off or delete it. I'm going to talk through some of those options shortly. So whichever plan you go on, you should implement those best practices to make sure that you utilize your credits the best way, or make sure you don't have any surprise bills. If you're new to AWS and you want to get familiar before upgrading, so you want that peace of mind that you're not going to be running up a bill while you're still trying to work your way through the console and understand what this thing is. Also, for short-term uses like studying for a certification, assuming it gives you access to all the services and features that you actually need for that particular certification course, or you're evaluating AWS for business purposes and you might not need access to everything initially, you're just starting to get a feel of AWS. Use the pay plan if you're a bit more familiar with AWS and confident with pricing and cost management controls. I'll talk, as I mentioned, about a few of those options shortly. Or if you need access to services that aren't included in the free plan. And for longer term uses, of course, 6 months plus. If you are confident with AWS, if you've used it before, but perhaps you're opening a new account for the company, so they've never used AWS before, so they should be eligible for the credits. So you'll get the credits as well, but you'll have access to all different services. So if there's something that you need access to for evaluation that's not included in the free plan, well, now you can do it. And you just need to make sure that you're familiar with how AWS charges and how you can control costs and get alerted if you're going to exceed certain budget thresholds. So free plan, best for beginners who want a safe, time-limited way to explore AWS without complex billing. And the pay plan is best for students who are building larger or more varied projects. So for example, in a lot of our courses, especially our bootcamp programs, some of the projects are more complex because they're more like real world use cases. And so not everything is going to be available in the free plan, so you might have to use a pay plan for some of those projects. Though in reality, sometimes we're racking up a bill of just a couple of dollars for doing something that's really, really useful for helping us to learn AWS very well. And companies evaluating or building on AWS. So if you have a more extensive evaluation or you're actually starting to build, then of course, just go straight for the pay plan. Now, important note on upgrading from free to paid. I have actually just covered this earlier on in the video, but just remember you do need to upgrade to a paid plan before you use AWS organizations. And also the free plan, it will be automatically upgraded to a paid plan if you join AWS partner programs or other enterprise programs. And so what you want to do is manually upgrade from the free account plan to the paid account plan to preserve your credits before you do any of those things. And remember, the free tier credits expire 12 months from the date you opened your account, but the free account plan is shut down after 6 months. So you have to upgrade to paid, but then you still get access to your credits after that time frame. Now, a few tips for cost management. So use the AWS pricing calculator and pricing pages. Let's have a look at this. So the pricing calculator is a super useful tool. You can find it at calculator.aws. And in here, we can create an estimate. You need to select your region because pricing is a little bit different in different regions. And then you can select a service like EC2, configure, and then choose what type of tenancy. So shared instances, maybe I just need one instance. And then let's use one of these options here, like T3 Small, which is available in the free tier. And if I search for that instance type, there it is. And so now I can see what that's going to cost me per month. So that one will cost me $7.50 a month, US dollars, of course. There may be some other things that I need to add in. So like, for example, EBS volumes and that kind of thing. But that is how much it's going to cost me to run one of those for an entire month. Okay, so reality is if you're evaluating AWS, you might spin some of these up. You might have a couple of EC2 instances running, maybe a load balancer, and then you're going to shut it down a couple of hours later. So you're not going to rack up a huge bill. So if I put in 2 here, though, for example, save and add that service, and then maybe I want an elastic load balancer as well. So now elastic load balancing configure, maybe it's going to be an application load balancer. I just need one. And then I'm going to need to enter some information here. So if you don't have access to this, you might just have to come up with some sort of estimations of how much traffic you would need to process. So perhaps just for testing purposes, let's put 1 gigabyte per hour. How many connections? Maybe 1,000. Maybe I'm running a whole bunch of automated testing. You can put in connection duration, that kind of thing as well. And it's going to tell you how much that's going to cost. And those might be very high values for a lab where you're just running up and testing it yourself. So just bear in mind, for example, with the load balancer, if you did leave it running, it's going to use up all your credits pretty quickly. You're going to be able to run that for a couple of weeks, and that alone would have used up all of your credits. So that's why it's important to understand what things cost so that you can make sure that you're using your credits properly. The other thing to do is to search for a service, AWS EC2 pricing, and then just go to the pricing page. So there should usually be, oh, there it is, pricing page. And that will help you to understand the different options. So for instance, on demand, which is pay as you go, then savings plans and spot instances. For evaluation purposes, basically it's on demand. So that's what you're going to be using. Set up a billing alarm in AWS budgets. So what that will do is it will send you an email when you are forecast to or have reached a certain budget. So you can put in like your monthly budget of $10, $20, whatever it is, and it's going to send you an email if you're forecast to exceed that amount. So if you ran up a whole bunch of instances, it might send you an email just like warn you that you are going to exceed that budget and use up some more credits than you might want to. So that's really useful, very, very important to do. Cost anomaly detection is a feature that's enabled by default when you set up a new account. That will help you understand what's going on with your costs, and it'll help to alert you if anything weird is going on. You can also enable free tier alerts within the billing preferences page of your AWS account, and that will send any free tier usage alerts to a specific email address. And you can use the AWS Cost Explorer as well to monitor your costs, and you can filter by region, by service, that kind of thing. When you have multiple accounts, you should use AWS organizations. And again, that's only available in the paid plan, but it's a good way of centralizing billing for multiple accounts, as well as many other features as well. So I mentioned promotional credits. There's a whole bunch of different programs from AWS. So you'll have to do some Googling here, maybe use ChatGPT to find out what is available, or use the AWS website itself. But there's lots of different programs. I can't put them all on here, and they're going to change all the time. But for example, AWS Activate for startups, they'll give promotional credits to people who are building new companies on AWS. AWS Educate for students and educators. We've got AWS Academy for institutions and partners. There are AWS training and certification promotions. These change all the time, but just keep an eye out for what happens there, because sometimes they do offer some amount of credits so that you can run up some labs. AWS Imagine Grant, we've got the nonprofit credit program, the enterprise discount programs for larger customers who are committing to AWS, and the migration acceleration program for credits for helping people or companies to migrate to AWS. So a bunch of different programs. There's many more than this as well. So just look up and see if there's anything that applies to you. And that's it for this video. I hope that was useful. And again, if you like this video, please make sure you like it on YouTube and also subscribe to our channel if you want to see some more videos like this one.